Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jesse Lavelle, and today we're going to explore birding on a budget. Well, sort of. What we're doing here, guys, is we're using the Tamron 100 to 400 millimeter lens, which I did a review on earlier, and I talked about how much I really love this lens. It works really awesome. And what I've been contemplating for a while is getting this new Tamron Teleconverter, and they make it in a 1.4 and also with the one that I got, which is the 2x crop. Now, both of them cost about $400. So I'm using also my Canon M50 today. So we've got the M50 with the Canon adapter that allows us to use EF hardware, and then we're going to attach the adapter to the Tamron 2x teleconverter here, and that's then going to come over to the 100 to 400 millimeter lens. Now, because I'm using an APS-C crop sensor, I'm getting a 1.6 crop factor on top of everything else. So I've got the 400 millimeter lens multiplied by 2, bringing me to 800 millimeters, and then I've got the 1.6 crop, which is then going to bring me out to 1280 millimeters. So you've got a pretty impressive zoom here. It's obviously not as expensive as, like, you know, some crazy Canon 2.8 crazy telephoto lens that costs $13,000, but you've got some restrictions because of that. When I zoom out here, I'm limited to f13, which I know sounds really bad, but it does retain autofocus. It does retain the two different types of stabilization that are built in, so everything works. Now, I've watched other people that did reviews with it that were using even like a 5D Mark IV, which is like a crazy expensive DSLR, and they were saying that they couldn't get any autofocus using that. And that hasn't been the case. I can say for sure, using an M50 and also using my RP attached to this setup, you do have autofocus. Now, the autofocus might be a little bit slower than it would be like natively on there, but it still works like perfectly, even at those really dark over f13 or even higher if you need to go. So that's really cool, but I mean, your light is limited at that point, obviously, so this setup really only works really good out in nice bright daylight. You know, once you get into like a really cloudy, hazy kind of rainy day, this might not really cut the bill because of how high I might have to push my ISO, which is where I might go and put the full frame on. But on the full frame camera, you're only getting 800 millimeters, which is still awesome. But using the M50, you're getting that 1280, so you're getting a lot further out there using this setup. Not only on top of that, with my M50 in comparison to my RP, this just shoots a lot faster. I'm going to go over to my friend's farm and I'm going to do some test shots with this, because the last few times that I've gone out with it, it's been really rainy. And I've just been in my bird blind, and it's really, one thing that I do have to say is, even just working with a 1280 focal length, it's really tough. It's tougher than you would think. I ended up getting a really big tripod that holds it perfectly steady, so that helped a lot. But honestly, just using that focal length is a challenge in and of itself, just because I'm not used to having so much zoom, and it's really hard just framing things up. And one other thing that's worth noting is I am using an M50, which obviously is a super small camera, but if we focus in here, you can see that I'm using the small rig cage so that's extending my grip on here. And I have to say, like, with everything, you've got the camera, the adapter, the extender, then to the lens, which is also pretty big, right? I mean, this thing feels totally solid. Everything that's connected here, again, I'm using the Canon adapter, not like a photodiox or anything, and the Tamron to Tamron. This thing just feels totally solid. If I use my RP, everything's weather sealed. With the M50, the body isn't weather sealed, so that's one thing to take into consideration. But the whole setup here is weather sealed. Gasket seals through everything. And I have to say that, you know, I watched a lot of reviews and I kind of didn't want to try it just because people were saying the autofocus didn't work and you shouldn't rely on that. But it does. It works great. I think that was just mainly people that weren't using Canon's newer mirrorless technology, because it seems like the mirrorless stuff is retaining autofocuses at f13 plus with no problems. And hey guys, I hope this video helped you. If it did, please go below, subscribe, click the notification bell so that way you can see when I put out new videos. I'm going to keep trying to pump out more and more stuff for you guys, but I hope this helped you. Birding on a budget. Have a good day.